is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Twigger, and I have another high ELO commentary featuring the members of CJ Entus, a Korean League of Legends team that is one of the longest standing Korean League of Legends professional teams. I'm focusing my commentary on this guy right here. Sadly, with the replay software that I use, we can't actually see their names. We can just see CJ Entus, but the names seem to be blocked out. But I can confirm based on my replay client that this is in fact Madlife right here. So CJ Entus Madlife, which is one of my favorite support players of all time. I wish I could have gotten him on somebody like Thresh or Blitzcrank, which he has kind of made his name on, but he plays a mean Alistar as well, so I'm very much excited to be watching this guy play and doing a commentary on his gameplay. One thing that I also note is that this is a 5-man queue for CJ Entus, so the people that they're currently running with, the one person that I'm really excited about is this guy is actually BDD, and there's a lot of talk about this guy in the Korean scene right now because he wasn't old enough to be able to play on the team, but he now finally is, and he's made quite an impact on the scene. He's incredibly talented, and I'm excited to be seeing him on somebody like a Zed, who really in North America and Europe is kind of fallen off. You don't see him very frequently anymore, but in Korea, they still love using him, still think that he's incredibly strong. It looks like up in the top lane, we have Untara, another member just of the CJ Entus team. Bubbling is in the jungle playing as Rek'Sai, and then we've got Kramer on the Sivir. So a pretty stacked team. CJ Entus going up against this other team. I confirmed that Ignar over on this Thresh is part of KT Rolster, but the other members are not, so it's not like it's a 5v5, but we already have Alistar and Sivir going incredibly aggressive on the enemy jungler, the duo jungle that they had with Gangplank and Kindred, and they managed to force them off. They didn't even get the big wolf down here, so they have to go all the way over here after taking an insane amount of damage from the wolves and from Alistar and Sivir. They have to come and do their raptor camps instead, so a huge play coming out of the red side, and because it looks like right now the red side is just going to go and use their duo jungle to hopefully clear out this blue. So fantastic little play from them. Looks like Thresh, while that was all going on, trying to get some coverage over here, and did see that they didn't take their blue. So I'm assuming that the blue side currently realizes that they're stealing their jungle, their blue side. But they might go up and take the red side's blue buff. Who knows right now? But a little bit of damage going down onto this Azir. The exhaust coming down from Azir onto BDD, but it looks like he's just going to disengage from this one. Summoner spell being burned from Azir, definitely worthwhile for the Zed. But now we've got the entirety of the red team. It looks like the jungler not coming up quite yet. Bubbling deciding that he wanted to take out the remainder of Kindred's jungle. But 3 people onto this turret, going for a fairly fast push on this top lane turret. Kindred a little bit far behind on this one. It's just kind of showing the coordination that 5 members of a team can have versus what looks to be solo queue from the other side. Or maybe just a couple of friends playing, but it is definitely a difference right now. But the turret's taking a similar amount of damage. We're currently sitting about half HP for that turret, about quarter HP for this turret. So we're going to be a few seconds off, I think, in terms of the deaths of the turrets, but it's going to be very close. So nicely done on both sides to get that first turret down. Well, I'm not going to say it yet because they haven't gotten the turret down quite yet. We're pushing. Blue buff is in fact being taken by the Kindred, so definitely smart move on their part, noticing that they were probably at their own blue buff, stealing that one, so utilizing that little bit of knowledge that they had to take the blue buff of their own. And it looks like, there we go, both turrets have been destroyed. A little bit quicker for the red side, but nothing too substantial. The blue side can certainly deal with that. And now it just looks like we're kind of back to the good old farming game. Junglers going at it in the jungle with their minions, and everybody else just trying to farm up. The top laners, of course, trying to get as much farm as humanly possible with the waves that are currently kind of bouncing back into their lanes. But right now we see a little bit of an advantage in the Gangplank side. But Nautilus, of course, doing a fairly decent job up top, trying to get as much farm as possible. Looks like the Kramer, the Sivir, is going to be back into the lane, pushing the Gangplank out. Looks like Alistar wants to try to make something happen here, but he is level 2 to a level 3 Gangplank, and I don't think you're going to want to dive underneath a turret here. A pink ward going down for Madlife as well. He is really trying to stop this Gangplank from going back. He's playing so aggressively, so this is exactly what I like to see from Madlife, is just this hugely aggressive style of play, because while this was all going on, they're trying to get this Nautilus down to start double jungling with the Rek'Sai again to get him more experience, but they're probably going to try to do the same thing for the Gangplank. But because he took so long with Madlife just absolutely harassing the crap out of him, he's going to be so far behind. He's still just walking up to try to get with this Kindred to try to make something happen in the jungle. But while that's all going on, Nautilus is already coming down to start, I believe, pushing down this bottom turret. And it looks like Gangplank kind of doing the same thing, but you can just see why I love commentating on other regions is this exact reason, just the differences in playstyles that I just feel like you don't see in other regions. While all this is going on in the top lane, they are going to try to push this turret down, but since they had a little bit of an advantage bringing the Nautilus back so early, it looks like the Rek'Sai and Madlife have been able to start off with the first dragon of the game. Doesn't really mean a lot, the 6% AP and AD in the early portions of the game, but definitely a thing worthwhile because only 5.5 minutes into the game, that means it's 20 minutes away from possibly a 5th dragon, which we're probably going to get to 25 minutes into the game. I can almost guarantee that one. So if they are on point with their dragon takes, it could very well be a 5-dragon game if the blue team isn't smart about stopping them. But once again, trading the 2 turrets. Now both top and bottom lane turrets for both sides are currently down. But the first dragon going in favor of CJ Entus. Kind of looking down in the scoreboards here, 12-13 in the top lane, fairly standard, fairly even in the jungle as well, 17-23, 30-33 in the mid lane, 36-33 in the bot lane for the ADC. So it's actually an incredibly even game right now, 9.6k to 9.3k, really not that big of a difference at all, a couple CS here and there, but right now it looks like the blue team going for that Rift Herald buff. Very smart decision. I think, yeah, they're going to put it onto the Kindred, try to utilize that to hopefully maybe push down the mid lane turret or a second tier turret up in the top lane or in the bot lane. And just one thing that we have to note, there are no kills yet. It's been 6 minutes and 40 seconds and no one's really looking for these team fights. I think that the kill is gonna happen in the mid lane. I can almost guarantee that. Like, now we've got level 6 on both the mid laners, and I feel like these guys are both aggressive enough. Yeah, here we go. The exhaust going down onto the Zed. The Emperor's Divide is going to push him away. It looks like the Zed is going to have enough to take down the Azir with the Ignite. Just barely not enough for the Azir to pick up a return kill on BDD, but he's just showing his talent on that Zed, getting in there, even through being pushed back by the Azir ultimate. Not having enough to actually clean up the Zed means that Zed's going to walk away with first blood and the first kill of the game. Just a couple of things that I'd like to mention just in regards to buys here. Very smart idea from the Zed, picking up that Hex Drinker as early as possible. Of course, you never want to underestimate the amount of magic damage that's going to be coming out of an Azir, and it gives you AD, but it also gives you that magic shield, which is fantastic. It can really save your life in those kind of tougher close range situations. But another interesting purchase from both of the ADCs, which you almost never see in America unless it's like Wild Turtle playing Ezreal, is the Cull. Like, Cull is on both of these ADCs. Now, the Cull is, it doesn't really help your stats very much, like 7 attack damage, 3 life on hit, but the important part is the passive, that killing a lane minion grants 1 additional gold, killing 100 lane minions grants an additional 350 gold. So, basically, what this item is for is that you don't really want to engage on anybody. You don't really want to fight, but I'm actually going to talk about the gank here. Looks like the Azir is going to go down to BDD, but he's probably going to trade his life for that one. He is going to go down, Kindred picking up that one. So, very nice little gank there, just happening to catch the Zed while he was being aggressive towards the Azir. But the Cull is basically just, these guys want to farm up. It gives them more gold. They want to get to their power spikes quicker rather than later. So they're going for the Cull to get as much gold from farming as humanly possible. Go back, pick up their items, probably sell the Cull eventually, and get to those power spikes fairly early so they can start team fighting or pushing down turrets and objectives faster. So right now, just in terms of the farm though, they both have the same idea, but they're both so even in farm, 72 to 68. Really not that big of a difference between the ADCs, so I think they are both playing this very well. Looks like the Lucian going for that BF sword as his first major buy going back. Curious to see what the Sivir is going to build, but probably going to be going for something along the lines of an Essence Reaver first. Just makes sense with the Warhammer that's already in her inventory. But all in all, it's just been kind of a fairly standard game, I have to say. Not really a lot of action happening, just a bunch of farming, a couple kills happening in the mid lane. Not really a lot of ganks happening yet. We've only really seen the one gank happening from the Kindred, but nothing really happening from the Rek'Sai. Ultimate coming up from the Rek'Sai, getting down over to his red buff. And we got a lot of pings going on, but not a lot of action. And also, like, when you just look down at the CS, it's just not really that big of a lead accruing for anybody. Like, about a 10 CS gold. Well, actually, no, it's gonna probably even up in this mid lane as well. So, yeah, very, very even game that we have going on here. But a 15.2k gold for the red side and 14.9k for the blue side. So we are seeing a couple hundred gold difference, but the teleport coming down from the Nautilus, the exhaust going down onto the Thresh, taking a lot of damage, is going to get Dredgeline and brought in. It looks like CJ Entus Kramer is going to pick that one up. Sivir getting her first kill of the game. Now the Kindred looking like she's being chased down. Auto attack coming out of the Nautilus is going to be enough to pick up that kill, locking her down just long enough for the entirety of CJ Entus to collapse in on that kill. Very well done, very well timed by CJ Entus to collapse in on that that just kind of roaming team at that point, getting the exhaust down onto the Thresh. Normally you would say that you wouldn't want to use your exhaust on somebody like a Thresh. Normally you want that for damage mitigation on one of their carries, but Madlife just seemed to see an opportunity to get a couple kills, and he took it. The ultimate coming down from Zed onto the Azir. The Azir's going to use his Emperor's Divide, but it's actually not going to land on anybody, and he's going to be taken down by the Zed ultimate. BDD really showing his strength on that champion. The hook is going to miss from Thresh and not going to connect onto that Nautilus. It looks like the Lucian just trying to do a little bit of damage to him while he's here, but looks like that was just a free kill for BDD on that Zed, also not picking up double buff. And while all that's going on, CJ Entus is in the bot lane with 3 members taking down the second tier bot lane turret, and it just looks like the blue team just not all on the same page right now, kind of walking around in different areas, not really getting the ward coverage that they need, and not collapsing in when they need to. But they were definitely caught out by that Nautilus teleport in the mid lane, which led to a couple kills and then led to another kill in the mid lane and the second tier bot lane turret. So we're just seeing a solid amount of communication coming out of this CJ Entus lineup. So definitely excited to see how this game progresses, but if you guys should definitely be watching the LCK, one of the most fun things to watch. I love watching Doa and Monte Cristo do their commentaries over these LCK games. They're really, really good. So if you guys are looking for really high quality Korean commentary, well, it's not in Korean, but it's Korean games, with some of the highest level games that you'll ever see, definitely check them out. They're tons of fun to watch, and they're all on YouTube as well, so definitely check those things out. But we're seeing the Thunderlord Sprout coming out of this Zed. He is going to jump in on this. He cancels his auto attack, which might have actually been able to kill the Azir, but I guess just cancel it right at the last second. But it looks like it's not even going to really matter, because the second tier top lane turret is now dead in favor of CJ Entus, and we're now sitting at a 21.7k to a 17.7k gold lead. Sorry, not gold lead, but just gold, yeah, gold lead for the red team. So definitely a couple thousand gold in favor of them. When we were just talking a couple minutes ago, it was just a couple hundred gold lead, but now we're talking a couple thousand simply because of those turret takes. Right now, it looks like they are taking down this Rift Herald. Not sure who they're going to give it to. Probably going to give it to somebody like the Sivir, who's going to be split pushing, I would assume. Am I right? Am I right? Oh, I'm totally right. Look at that. Caster gift, ladies and gentlemen. So, Sivir picking up that Rift Herald buff is going to use that to push down minions even further. She has not sold the Cull yet. Neither has the Lucian. So they're still looking to stack those things up. The BF sword was picked up by Sivir as well, but while all this is going down, looks like the blue side is going to pick up their first dragon of the game. Nobody from CJ Entus is anywhere near to actually interrupt this one, so that's going to be the first dragon of the game for the blue side, getting that 6% AP and AD for their team, trying to match the damage currently coming out from CJ Entus in their lineup. But BDD now coming in, trying to get some damage onto the Azir, but not going to hit those shurikens. And it looks like Madlife just going to take down a ward, kind of do his thing. Rek'Sai using her ultimate to get down into this river to join Madlife in his quest to clear wards in the bot side jungle. We're not really seeing a whole lot of action now. It's just kind of everybody's done their thing for the first couple minutes, and there was a little bit of action, and now we're all just kind of reset and going back to, it looks like they're trying to push down the mid lane turret a little bit. Looks like the Thresh is going to miss the hook onto the Zed. BDD going to take this opportunity to use the standard Zed laugh. Always funny. And it's always very BM as well, so good on him. But all this going down, it looks like the red team is now finally grouping up in that mid lane to take down that first tier turret in the mid lane. The Gangplank ultimate coming down is going to probably prevent these guys. The Cannon Barrage does do a lot of damage and clears out minions very quickly, so going to clear out that wave to guarantee that that turret doesn't go down this wave. But the problem is now with the Azir kind of going B, it seems, they're not going to have any wave clear to take down the minions that are coming into this turret. The Azir is now B. The Rift Herald buff is now on the minions. They're going to take down this turret very, very quickly. Even with the GP barrels coming up, I don't think it's going to be enough to actually clear anybody out. No, it is not. So there we go. It looks like the ultimate coming down, though, from the, the ultimate coming from the Nas onto the Callista. Sorry, the Kindred. But it looks like she's going to get cleaned up anyways, being headbutted out of her own ultimate to make her vulnerable again, and she is going to be taken out. I don't know why Callista sounds like Kindred to me, but the great play play from Madlife. You know, the Kindred ultimate coming down, making her invulnerable, making her sure that she's not going to die and also get healed at the very end. But if the Alistar knocks the Kindred out of that ultimate, she is very vulnerable and very well will die, and so gets picked down very, very quickly. The Thresh once again missing another hook. Rek'Sai coming in now. Looks like BDD using his ultimate onto the Azir is going to take him down immediately. The culling now coming out of the Lucian to try to take down BDD Zed, but it's not going to be enough, but is going to damage him enough to have him forced back onto his shadow to go and take down this second tier turret. But they did exactly what they wanted to do, utilize the Zed ultimate to take down one of their carries and push down the second tier turret. Very nicely done. Surgical play coming out of CJ Entus right now. 7-1 is the kill score, 29.4k to 22.6k. A very substantial gold lead now, and we basically have no more turrets other than the inner base turrets for this blue side. So they have a lot of work to do to come back into this game, but just doing a little bit of an item check here. It looks like the Zed opting to completely finish off his Maw of Malmortius rather than finishing off other items. So curious build. Normally you would see people just get the Hex Drinker and then focus on their other standard Zed items, but no, he's definitely finishing off the Maw of Malmortius first to ensure that he doesn't die to magic damage on the enemy team. But we do have a Devourer onto the Kindred, so not entirely sure how I feel about that, considering that Kindred is kind of far behind right now. Not going to have those stacks very quickly, only sitting at 13 right now. Still probably needs another like 7 to 10 minutes of this game to actually stack that up fully, considering that the Dragon is down, the Rift Herald is down. It's going to be tough for her to stack that up, especially considering that they're on their back foot right now. But Essence Reaver being completed by both ADCs, but a Zeal also being completed by the Sivir. So a little bit of an advantage going in favor of the Sivir, but up in the top lane, you do have GP with his Trinity Force completed, but you also have the Nautilus with his Sunfire Cape completed. So both of them, oh, Madlife flashing in. He does have his ultimate available, so he can't use it to eliminate some of the damage, but they're not actually going to be able to take down the Lucian. The culling coming down as well, doing a lot of damage, but not actually picking anybody off. So it looks like that was just an engage that got the blue team incredibly low. 3 members of the blue team sitting at barely any HP. Could have been taken down by anything, but the Zed wasn't there, and it seems as though the Nautilus wasn't there either. The ultimate coming down from BDD. Zed is going to get exhausted immediately by the Azir. Zed now going in, doing so much damage to the Azir, forcing a flash out of Azir, even though Zed had already gone back to his shadow. Just the fear of that one more auto attack coming out of Zed was enough to send the Azir away. Kindred being locked down by the ultimate coming from the Nautilus. That dredge line doing a lot of damage as well from keeping her in range of that Sunfire Cape, but it looks like finally the Kindred is going to go down to the Sivir, but it looks like Madlife is going to pay with his life by the Lucian. The Lucian going to pick that one up with 4 assists coming for the blue team, so at least they finally got another kill. They were sitting on 1 kill for just so long, but they did finally pick up one onto Madlife. But to be honest, it's the support, right? You're not losing any shutdowns. It's not like you lost the Sivir or you lost the Zed. You don't want to see Madlife go down, but definitely something that had to happen, because he was going pretty aggressive on there. But there's only so much he can tank, even with his ultimate up. When you have 5 members wailing on your face, that is just something that not many people can deal with. Especially considering that we're only 17.5 minutes into this game, really. So it's not like Alistar is overly tanky. He has an Aegis of the Legion, and that's about it, right? A little bit of health coming from the Sightstone and from the Relic Shield, but that's about all he's got. He's opted for the mobility boots to get around the map very, very quickly, but also opted to get, I believe it's Alacrity, right? No, Distortion. Sorry, my fault. This is the one that reduces the the cooldown of Teleport and Flash, so he's basically looking for those spotlights. But Zed coming in is going to get pushed back immediately. Sorry, I all of a sudden decided that I wanted to choke and die at that exact moment. But Zed just going in onto the Azir, even though he got pushed back, flashed over the Emperor's Divide and manages to just pick up a very quick kill onto the Azir. I'm actually surprised to see Azir's build right now, considering that you're going up against a fed Zed. I cannot believe that he hasn't opted to go for at least the Seeker's Arm Guard, if not the full Zhonya's Hourglass. I think Azir thought that the first kill was just like kind of something that was going to happen, no issue. Build my standard Azir build and I'll outscale Zed. But we're seeing PDD Zed is unbelievable right now. He's 7-1-1, seems to know when to time his aggression. But we are seeing a couple things. Like there have been a couple plays where maybe he's being a little bit too greedy. Maybe he's going a little bit too ham on certain things. But at this point, when the Azir is 0-5-2, burning a flash to get the kill onto Azir, if you don't take something like an inhibitor or a turret, I don't think it's actually worth it to burn your flash for that kill. I probably would have just ultied and then possibly used your shadow to get back from the Emperor's Survive. But a great dredge line landing onto the Lucian, taking about a quarter of his HP with that Sunfire Cape, the dredge line, and then an auto attack. So very nicely done from the Nautilus, just keeping the Lucian away. The culling coming down as well, trying to clear out some minions, but also provide some damage. Looks like the Gangplank ultimate Cannon Barrage coming down as well. The box has now been laid down onto the ground, doing some damage to Rek'Sai, but Bubbling's just going to walk away from this one without much concern at all. The one inhibitor down in the bot lane was already taken, and looks like the second inhibitor is going to be going down in the mid lane, and there's just nothing that the blue team can do about this right now. Everybody on the red team is just so damn strong. Kramer looking like he's taking a couple shots, Sivir going down pretty darn low, but it looks like the Kindred now trying to jump in onto this Rek'Sai, but it's not going to be enough to do really anything to him. She's just so far behind and still doesn't have Sated Devour, so once again, I just think not really a great pickup for the Kindred to get a Devour. Would have much rather seen something like a Warriors enchantment, but the ultimate coming down from Kindred as well, not entirely sure what that was about. It might very well be a surrender vote for the blue side. I'm not entirely sure quite yet, but it was definitely a good looking ultimate. I'll definitely give Kindred that. It looked pretty sweet. But it looks like the CJ team just looking to clean up another dragon. That's going to be their second dragon of the game. The ultimate coming down from BDD Zed onto Lucian. He is going to have to use the heal. He does miss a shuriken, but it doesn't even matter. It's going to be enough damage anyways after using that Ghost Blade to take down the Lucian. And there we go. The blue team did end up surrendering to CJ Entus. So, guys, that was the CJ Entus team playing a 5-man group against... I'm not entirely sure. There were a couple members of KZ Rollstar on that, but I don't believe that it was a 5-man team on their side. So, hopefully you guys did enjoy that high ELO Korean gameplay 5-man team. It was definitely a lot of fun to commentate, just showing the skills of some of these champions and some of these players. It's so cool to watch different regions play to see how their play style is. But if you guys did enjoy that commentary, show that like button a little bit of love. Let me know in the comment section below what type of players or champions you want me to do a commentary on. I will do my best to record a video of that. If you guys want to know when I release a video, when I stream, or if you want to interact with me, follow me at TwiggerLol on Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you enjoy commentary like this and want to see more. And ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, see you guys in the next video.